All right, welcome back, everyone. Second half hour of Leading the Charge. Matt Beauvais, Howard Simon. We said goodbye to Joe Biscaglia because I think he's going to go shovel in the South Towns or something. It's nice and cozy and warm up in the North Towns where we are.
We don't get snow.
We don't get snow. Bills 27, Ravens 25. It's a weird game because I have to look at the score. It's one of those games where I don't even remember the score. I remember.
Scorigami, was it?
No, I don't think it was a scorigami. It was just one of those games where the stories were not the score, and it was like, okay, how did we ultimately get to that point? As you're hunkered down in the fear bunker, what is going through your head over the course of the last 5 minutes of the game or so?
Man, that fourth quarter took forever.
Yeah, it did.
I mean, it was. I'm telling you, I'm not kidding. I said it in the first half hour. For those that are just joining us, I was here for the Super Bowls. You know, I've been here for since 1989, and I'm telling you, that fourth quarter was. I haven't suffered like that in a long time. I mean, it's different. When you're in the press box, you're in complete work mode.
Yes, completely.
You can't yell in the press box, bleep this or bleep that.
No.
You can't vent. You can't do it. I'm sitting there in the basement, and I am like freaking out.
Yeah.
I just wanted the game to end. I'm having issues breathing. Let's get this game over with.
Yeah. My thing with it's funny because it goes by so much faster when you're covering the game. You know that from covering the game.
The fourth quarter crawled.
Yeah, so for you, you're watching the game on television. It feels like the commercials are happening nonstop. That's when you're trying to catch up on things and you're trying to figure out everything that's going on. So it goes by a lot faster. So I don't think you have as long to process what's going on, and that's a blessing.
You know what it was like? Now we got to go back a ways. Do you remember what it was like when the Sabres used to be in the playoffs?
Yes.
And they'd have a 1-goal lead in the third period.
Just get to the garage, right? Just get the game. Just get the game. Just finish it.
And the clock is on the screen. You're like, oh my God, it was just 17 minutes, 20 minutes ago. And you would just sit there going, tick, tick, tick.
Yep.
That's what the fourth quarter felt like.
All right. We got lots of comments already. I mean, mostly people just saying go Bills like Karen. Some people saying hi. We've already got some questions about Kansas City. We've got a couple comments from Lloyd Taco Factory, one of which is, are they still saving Dalton Kincaid? I don't know because I have no idea.
Yeah.
I will say we talked in the first half hour. Josh had a bad ball to him. I want Kincaid to make that catch.
I saw your tweet about that. That's a tough catch. He's sliding down.
He's a first-round pick tight end who is supposed to be known for bringing in the tough ball.
Well, I mean, the quarterback might be the MVP. I'd like to make a better throw.
That's fair. That's fair.
But I think he again, I think he got less snaps. This is where Joe comes in and tells us about snap counts. I'm pretty sure he got less snaps than Knox.
Yeah.
But I don't think this is where was Amari Cooper last night? I mean, and Coleman too. I just think the passing game was so next to nothing. They weren't hiding anybody last night.
Don, I agree with Howard. I almost had a stroke with 3 minutes left in the game. Definitely increasing my blood pressure meds next week.
I had people tweeting pictures of heart monitors and you have the watches with all the readings on it. Yeah, this one person said their warning went off twice for their heart rate being too fast in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, this is a question from John, who is joining us on X, formerly Twitter. Yeah, and he says, has the Bills defense finally exercised their playoff demons? Which is a little bit what we talked about before we started the show. The Mark Andrews play is always the play that happens to the Bills. Yeah. They're the team that has the guy that drops the pass. They're the team that has the 3 turnovers and still is in it at the end. I thought the defense, even though the numbers don't show it, had a really effective game yesterday.
Yeah, I thought so too. And Joe had some stats earlier, but you think about Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry, the first time they faced him this season, he averaged 8.3 yards a carry.
Crazy. He
had 199 yards rushing and an 87-yard run. Now, yesterday, he ends up with 6. Actually, if you're Baltimore, you should have run Derrick Henry more. He had 16 carries for 84 yards. Now, that's a very healthy 5.3 per carry. Yeah. But that's a lot better than what happened in the earlier game this season, and he had nothing longer than 17. So I thought the defense was good. It did a good job of not letting Derrick Henry shred the game. And, without Zay Flowers, that really limited their passing attack. Mark Andrews, that might have been his worst game as a pro.
Yeah.
I mean, he had not just a 2-point drop. He had a drop earlier in the game. And he had a fumble.
Yeah.
So I thought the defense played well, Matt. I think, full marks to them because in the second half, the offense gets 6 points and you had to shut the game down basically or hold on for dear life. And I thought the defense, those takeaways. And the goal line stop, which we didn't talk about in the first half hour.
Huge.
First down and goal at the 2.
Yeah.
And they go backwards.
They hold it for a field goal.
-1 Henry run.
Yep.
Russo sack -5, incomplete pass field goal. That's 14-10, not 14-14. That was a huge stand.
You see the tape on the second down play. It looked like they were trying to throw to an offensive lineman.
I saw.
Get cute. And AJ Epinesa completely read the play.
Good.
It threw Lamar off. He held the ball a split second too long. Greg Rousseau gets home. That is being well coached.
Yes.
And that's where Sean McDermott and Bobby Babich come in. Okay, we went a little bit long on the first half hour. So it is my fault. We are going to take a quick break on the television side of things. But if you are watching us online, we'll continue to answer some questions. If you're watching on TV, we'll be right back. All right. There's a lot of questions here. How will the Bills try and stop Kelsey? Is a really good question from Buffalo Wingwear on Facebook. Now, what I'll say is there's a couple different things they could do. Last year, they were trying to stop him with A.J. Klein and Balen Spector, and it was a disaster in that AFC Divisional Round. They are healthier now, but Matt Milano, that situation's a bit sketchy. Now, I don't exactly know what's going on, but there is a question here.
Plus your safeties. You're not sure what's going on at safety. Taylor Rapp.
Yeah, exactly.
Is he playing? Is he not? Is it Hamlin and Bishop?
Now,
because safeties can factor in on covering Kelsey.
Somebody asked a question about Matt Milano here. What they're referring to is that Matt Milano got hurt at some point in the last drive and then did not play, I think, for the final 4 plays or something. When Sean McDermott opened his Zoom call today, he did not mention him as an injury. Then he was specifically asked about Matt Milano, and Sean said there was nothing up to his knowledge, but he wanted to talk to the trainers. So he didn't give him an injury designation, but he also wasn't on the field at the end of the game. So why would Matt Milano not be on the field at the end of the game? They had Dorian Williams out there. I will say, though, because we've been doing some digging here, there are pictures in the locker room from the team celebrating after the game, and he's in the pictures. So he's in the locker room, so it's a good sign. But you need Matt Milano in this game. You need Matt Milano, you need Terrell Bernard, you need Taron Johnson. Those are guys who are going to help you try and stop or at least contain Travis Kelce.
Yeah, and also the easy answer is there is no one way to do it. You can't put one guy on him. You mix things up. You hope that but he's really good at obviously finding spots in your zone,
of course,
and sitting there.
Yep.
Now, what thing I bet I can almost guarantee this will not happen Sunday. He had 2 catches for 8 yards in the game here.
Crazy.
Not going to happen again. He just had a monster game against Houston, and they're talking about how he's 35 that thought he was slowing down, and he really played well. He's for about the last month, he's been coming up big for them.
Alicia, is Hyde going to play? Now, you know that I am the conductor of the Micah Hyde train here. No, he's not going to play. I mean, Sean said it quite flatly today. He is not going to play. We do not expect him to be out there, which I think at this point is the right call. I think it's going to be Damar Hamlin. They said Taylor Rapp is day-to-day, which is a good sign. Considering he was carted off the field, that is a very good sign. Because we're also at the point now, we're not just talking about one game. You want to win one game, but it's okay. In the back of your head, if you allow yourself to get there, well, if they win this game, could he be ready in a couple weeks, whatever. So day-to-day, a good prognosis for Taylor Rapp, all things considered, but I would imagine it's Damar Hamlin, Cole Bishop, and then probably a Kareem Jackson elevation.
And
they'll use Cam Lewis, too.
By the way, thank you for having Micah Hyde on the sideline right there. All week in practice, in the film room, in the meeting room, and on the sideline in the game if Cole Bishop has questions.
Yes, we're coming back. All right, welcome back. Actually, a comment from Kathy, and it's a good conversation on the end of the game, or at least the way it played out. Howard. Harbaugh going for 2 at 21-19 instead of the point after attempt allowed McDermott to kick the field goal instead of going for it. McDermott outcoached Harbaugh. Do you agree? I don't hate that. I don't think he outcoached him. No. Yeah, I think Harbaugh. I think there were a lot of failed exection plays from the Ravens.
That was Milano too, right? Who tipped that first?
Milano tips the 2-point conversion. So it doesn't. If you have a chance to tie a game, I don't ever think you should avoid taking. I don't think it was too early.
No, and analytics. Well, first off, it ends. I don't even need the analytics. You have a chance to tie the game. You tie the game.
Yes.
You don't play. Well, let me get. I mean, it's still a 33-yard extra point, and there's no guarantee you're going to hit the extra point.
Yeah.
Although Tucker had a nice game.
Yeah.
So I would try. I would absolutely, if it's the same thing reversed, I would want Sean McDermott to go for 2 and try the game.
Yeah.
So, but also analytics will tell you. Going for 2 earlier instead of waiting for the end of the game. There's things that support going for 2 as soon as you can, but go for the time.
All right. Tony, question from X. Do you think we should prioritize running the ball, letting James Cook Josh air it out? Which is the better path to victory? It's a balance, Tony. It's going to be probably more of a balance than we saw against the Ravens. The Bills were very adamant about trying to establish the run against the Ravens, even though the Ravens
they were the number
one rush defense in the NFL. The Bills had some successful plays, but I also thought they stuck to it a little too much in the game. I think it'll be closer to a split, probably closer to like what we saw last week against the Broncos is going to be the guess that I have for the Bills. But a lot of it will depend on game script. If the Bills get ahead, they'll probably be very content having an extra offensive lineman out on the field, trying to keep the Chiefs' offense off of the field and trying to be methodical. If they go down, though, that's when you've got to have Josh put the cape on, and he's shown he can.
But I also, if you one or the other, I would always lean on Josh Allen in the passing game.
Yeah.
He's really good. And if you look at his numbers, he's played, I know they're 0-3 in the playoffs against Kansas City, but if you go back and look at Josh's numbers, they are amazing. In fact, I will save you the time. In 3 playoff games, he's thrown for 802 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 1 pick.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yes.
So if you're asking me what I would do, you can have the running game. I love James Cook. I think he's an outstanding running back.
Yeah.
Ty Johnson's had a great year.
Sure.
And Ray Davis actually had a big 16-yard run yesterday. But if you're asking me which I would lean on, I would always lean on Josh Allen to make plays in the passing game.
Yeah, I mean, we're making the argument that he might be the best and most valuable player in the entire NFL this year.
Yeah.
If I want the ball in somebody's hands in a crucial moment, that's the guy who I'm trusting. But that doesn't mean you have to trust him too. And that's the difference between this year. Now he's got a supporting cast that can help him. He doesn't have to do everything, which is such a big area for the Bills of growth. And, of course, the coaching staff deserves some credit too. All right, TV side, quick break.
Quick thing we'll bring up on the stream then.
All right, we'll talk about this on the stream coming up.
So I was reading a stat today.
Yes.
I mean, you remember the whole too much on Josh's play?
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes has accounted for 72% of the Chiefs' offense this year.
Yeah.
It's the highest by far of any quarterback in the NFL.
No kidding.
Is anybody going to bring up Patrick Mahomes as too much on his plate?
No. But you know what, though? It's different.
Well, why was it too much for Josh, but it's okay for Mahomes?
And
now part of it, Pacheco was out. Their running game has not been good.
No. You know what I would say?
That's
one, because they've won.
Yeah.
And when you've won,
score games.
I know you've won all these games, and their defense is better. The Chiefs' defense is legit.
Yeah.
So the Chiefs' defense, I feel like, gives the margin for error for their
number one in scoring defense.
Their defense is good,
but their offense. That's the other stat that's crazy. They've won 21 straight one-score games.
The Chiefs have.
Yep.
Yeah.
Going back into last season and maybe even before.
Yeah, and the reason that the Bills won wasn't because they won by 9 instead of by 8.
Yeah.
It would have been even more.
Yeah.
If it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Doesn't look like, this is from Betty on Facebook, doesn't look like the weather is going to be a factor Sunday.
It's supposed to be nice.
Yeah, I checked the weather. It's for Kansas City,
30s?
33 and is the high, and it looked like 5 and 10 mile an hour winds.
Fine.
So that is fine. I don't think that
to benefit anybody.
I was going to say, I don't know if the weather would have an impact on either, like a huge impact. I always think that inclement weather usually benefits either the home team or the worst team, depending on the situation.
Yeah.
I feel like these teams are, the line for Sunday? Did you look?
1.5.
1.5. This is a close line. They are expecting this to be a very tight game, Vegas. Brenda, do you think we are going to lose Joe Brady as an offensive coordinator? You know what's interesting about this? The Bills' win yesterday may have saved Joe Brady for another season.
The numbers weren't great.
Well, no, I don't mean that. It's another week of having to hold off.
That's right. Is there a window again?
No, he could. I'm just saying
Zoom interviews,
he can do Zoom interviews, but I think teams are trying to figure out these things now, right?
I almost wondered if someone had to hire Ben Johnson first.
Yeah.
And maybe then everybody else kind of gets going.
Well, it seems like Ben Johnson already got the job in Chicago or is getting the job. And then Glenn is going to likely get a job. So, after that, there's 3 or 4 jobs out there left. And the Saints would be the team to watch for him. And if not the Saints, then I don't really know.
Jags?
Yeah, he interviewed there, but I heard, or at least I saw on social media, they're giving Saleh a second interview, and they don't have to wait, right? Saleh doesn't have to wait for anything right now, so he can just go. And Connie says she heard it's going to be colder. Maybe it's going to be 6:30, so it'll probably be 20 degrees instead of 30, but whatever. All right, Buffalo lost 4 straight Super Bowls, all to NFC East teams. Washington and Philadelphia remained. Oh, that's a good point.
Washington.
No, I'm saying but it's interesting.
The
2 teams left are NFC
but they didn't play the Eagles. They could still lose to Philadelphia, and there's the sweep.
All right, don't say that. 10 seconds left.
I didn't say that. Is there one more break, or is this okay?
All right, welcome back, everyone. Question from Tom. Where do you see Ray Davis on the list of rookies? He has had some big moments, great draft choice. He was fantastic for them yesterday when he needed to be. He gets the touchdown, right? I mean,
during the week, Ray was coming out of concussion protocol.
Ray Davis averaged 7.3 yards a carry yesterday.
Yeah, and it's tough.
He only had 4, but
that's
still.
That's the thing. It's tough because they have a defined number 1 back.
Yeah.
And then Ty Johnson has come in and had just a great role of third down guy.
Yes.
He's earned more snaps with how effective he's been this year. So Ray Davis is he's third in that depth chart, and he's not going anywhere while these two guys are in front of him. But when he gets out there, and they give him a chance, he runs hard. He finds the hole. He's just, I love everything I've seen about him. It's just, he's not going to get a ton of snaps.
Ty Johnson lost in the shuffle because
he's so good.
He's fantastic. He sealed the win yesterday.
Yeah,
now, it would have been 10 seconds that they would have given the ball back with no timeouts, but we saw what happened with 13 seconds. So you never want to just chance it, right? I don't know what happened. If for some reason it jogs back.
Honestly, I was still nervous until he ran and then he slid, and I'm like, hey, they can go to victory formation now.
Yes, exactly. Melanie, she says, if we go to the Super Bowl, who would you like to see us beat? I don't even think it's.
Let's not
I don't even think you can put the question. I know by acknowledging the question, we're putting it to the universe, but I feel like that's like
I'm
you
not
can't
touching
even.
That.
Don't talk about Fight Club. It's like one of those things that you can't even talk about. Connie,
who would you want to see them face? But who do we?
No, exactly. Connie, 10 games at home. They won all 10 of them. 10-0. That's really impressive.
First time since 1990.
Yeah.
The Bills finished a home schedule unbeaten. It's only the third time in franchise history.
You know what's crazy? And I did not know this until today because it's obvious, but it's not something you think about. For them to get to the Super Bowl this year, they have to win a road playoff game. You know when the last time they won a road playoff game was?
1990. Let's see. They didn't do it 99, 98, 90.
No, keep going.
93. Miami AFC Championship game.
1993 was the last time that they won a road playoff game. So it's been a long time. Now, they had a 17-year drought, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
But
McDermott hasn't won a road playoff game.
Exactly.
Houston, Jacksonville, and 3
Kansas City.
3 Kansas Cities. No.
All right, 2 on the road, 1 at home.
Yeah.
One more quick break. We'll answer more questions.
Yeah, right. He's 0-4. Houston, Jacksonville, 2 Kansas Cities.
A little more than 90 seconds here.
Okay.
Let's see. What about Miller's run 10 years ago? Would have been a touchdown. Yeah. I mean, that's funny. He said he was moving, but he said he's like once he realized who was chasing him, he was like, it was done.
Hill chasing him?
Yeah, Justice Hill.
Yeah.
Justice Hill ran, I think, like a 4.39 40 or something. Von Miller is 36 years old at this point in his career.
He ran like 30-something yards, right? I think.
Yeah. I mean, they picked it up probably close to the 45 and returned it to about the 25. Yeah. So it was a huge play. Lori has a comment here. Micah is a great big help with questions. I can tell you this is not some like inside baseball stuff. Micah Hyde is attached to these guys at the hip, and it is so interesting to watch him work with the safeties about, hey, this is what you're doing. This is how you're going to approach it. I really do think he's a player coach, even though he's not playing, but he is here for a reason. So somebody told me yesterday, they're like, you only get partial credit for calling the Micah Hyde return because, and I said, no, I never said that he was going to come back and play. I just said he was going to be back with the Buffalo Bills, which he certainly was. Lori, he needs to use his legs more, and that's in regards to Josh Allen. This is the game when that happens, right? You got a trip to the Super Bowl on the line.
You pull out all the stops.
You're not thinking about anything anymore. It's whatever you've got up your sleeve. If you need to use that, you are using it.
His legs were big in the game here.
Right? I know. Well, think about the 4th down play. 4th and 2, right? The play of the year.
I know.
The touchdown.
Right. Yeah.
All right. We've got 15 seconds, and then we are going to say goodbye. Lori says, I said if the Bills make the Super Bowl.
Oh, okay. I thought you said when.
Yeah.
Don't jinx it.
All right, welcome back. This is a terrible one that we forgot, Larry Brooks. Don't forget Music City Miracle, another road playoff game that we lost. When we were going through our memory.
I don't recall.
Just one. I don't really remember what happened. I ever tell you my Music City Miracle story?
No.
About my dad?
No.
This is a wild story.
Is there cursing involved?
Probably. So my dad was at an airport flying back from a business trip, watched the Bills take the lead, kick the field goal, boarded the plane, thought they won.
Oh.
Had no idea they lost until he got home. It was, 1999. It's not like people had cell phones in their pockets where they could get on the internet. So he had no idea. All right, we have 1 minute left.
I was in the end zone.
You were in the end zone.
I covered the game.
Yeah.
And then we stayed in town that night, went to the Predators. We're home that night. Pete Weber got us free tickets. So we go to the Predators game, and there's intermission break, and guess who's there to be welcomed by the crowd? Frank Wycheck is at the Predators game, and on their video board, they welcomed him and showed the play.
Yeah, just brutal.
Sorry.
We have 45 seconds. Give me a final thought as we get ready for this Chiefs week.
Let's go. Fine.
Yeah.
Who would you rather face than them right there, right? Marv, I need you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Bring it. They're not going to be intimidated by the Chiefs. No. They're not going to be the aura of Arrowhead won't bother them. They're not going to worry about 0-3 in the playoffs at Arrowhead either. Honestly, I think this is their best chance to go in there and end the streak. They can beat this team for sure. Kansas City's been living on the edge all season, Matt.
Yep. We've always said this year is different. Now you got a chance to prove why this year is different. We'll see how it plays out. All right, another Lead in the Charge coming up on Thursday with live reports from Kansas City. That's Howard Simon. I'm Matt Bove. Have a great week, everyone. We'll see you next Monday.
So,
bye, everyone on the stream.
Where you're doing your stuff from Kansas City? Because there's